What's up guys, Fury TV here, and we are back with another episode of Poker Hands. Today, we're going to be taking a look over some hands where the players thought they flopped a monster hand. Before getting into it, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our videos, as your support is allowing us to continue posting videos on a daily basis.
The 450 already. Nobody's even close to it.
He's up to 450, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And a couple limps. There was this sort of thing going on where in your match, every time somebody limped, Yevgeny raised. And I guess that's how that big pot started. Very standard to raise the limps.
If you fold now, it looks really weird. I promise I won't fold.
Limping's weak play unless you're looking to limp raise with a huge hand. No, I don't really limp hardly at all.
Well, there's been two limps here, and I guess Helmuth considering the raise, but the dynamic's already starting, isn't it? When everyone knows that the limps are being raised, so they're going to start limping to trap.
This is stupid. I have to do it.
Yeah.
I have to make it 20.
Cool.
This is an interesting pot. Everyone's got a little bit.
Someone's gonna go broke here. You can't play an 8-way pot and not go broke.
Cool.
Nice hand.
I mean, is that a nitty fold by Vanessa? I know it's not much of a hand, but she's on the button to 6 limps.
Cool. I literally can't think of
9-4 diamonds.
I thought Yevgeny was the one who would pop it up every time they limp. Young guys.
Okay.
Maybe if she was to play the hand, I'd prefer a raise, to be honest.
5-9 queen, 2 spades, please. Check.
Who's hit it?
Check.
Timoshenko. Oh, and a set. This is all in. Timoshenko's out.
Oh, DeWolf's got the set, and
Yeah.
Timoshenko's got top 2 pair. He got off this kind of hand in the last match.
He won't get off it now. He can't.
That's 13,000.
Because there's too many draws
Fold.
up. He has to raise this flop, otherwise it's bad.
He has to raise. I mean, when you have a 7-way pot, are you much more wary of getting
he is
cold,
obviously
coolered?
worried about pocket sixes, but that is the only hand.
Cool.
Oh wow,
Fold.
And
it's just cool.
I mean,
He
overall,
wants to see a brick on the turn, and then he's going to get it in. I
right?
think. He's losing to one hand here. I think he should have raised.
So,
But it is a limped pot, so he is probably thinking anyone who wants to be all in on this flop going to have a set of sixes. But he should be thinking, I need
At least
to
I
get
didn't
money
use
out
signals
of
and
queens.
stuff. I could have been doing that the whole time and you guys wouldn't have known.
King 10.
You pretty much have
Anyways,
it perfect.
it's got to go in now. It just has to go in. I want it to go in because I got a 10k side bet with Timoshenko on points. So
I'm not here to judge whether he has a little golf
That
hustle
comes
on
from
or
the
not.
man I've never beaten for $12.
I
No
mean,
chance.
is
I
he
have no chance.
considering checking this? You
no,
wouldn't.
he
No
wouldn't,
chance.
especially not with
Drawing dead.
Giovanni in the pot.
Well, that's why I'd like to bet it.
Definitely gonna bet, and I want to see 40k at least.
No one ever accused you of being a gambler. He just takes the nuts.
Wow, they're having a big conversation on the side of Roland, and he's just sitting here. He doesn't ever think that 3 queens or 3 jacks are out there.
Of course, he knows he's got the stone nuts basically.
Yeah.
That's
I was hoping he
45,000.
raised.
Yeah, that's a good bet. That's a perfect bet.
And Timoshenko, the only thing he's had an opportunity to do in this Premier League is make good laydowns.
There's not many hands you're going to raise in the heavy beat.
But I have outs against all of them. So what? I
The
have
thing
outs.
is, if he calls now, there's 150 in the middle.
If he has a flush,
If some weird card comes on the river,
if he has a set, I have a
he's
flush.
just going to be in an awful
has a flush, I
spot
have a
based
set.
on the bet. So that's why he really should raise now.
And Safina, I mean, if Safina's in there with the spades, right? He has to raise it,
He
right?
has to raise now. Yeah, I mean, look, he's just going to call again.
Cool.
He's insane. He's
I mean, he's going to get stacked on
Cool.
any card lower than a 7 that's not a spade. Wow, see, it's so sick.
wow, that saved him. And I mean,
Sick.
Timoshenko has found a way not to go broke.
Now he's going to be kicking himself because he knows the flush draw has come and Roland could have got there.
Is it time
So
for?
he doesn't know that he actually made such a good play on the turn, but he's in his brain thinking, oh, why didn't I raise that turn? Oh, he's checked. This is
Roland's
awful.
checked. Roland's checked.
That's an awful check. Timoshenko's never going to bet here. I don't know what he's thinking about. He's over the moon that Roland's checked here. He should be checking back instantly.
Why?
If he bets, he's trying to push Roland off a set of sixes, but I don't think Timoshenko's doing that. 'Cause this is never a value bet. But this is just too sick that Timoshenko didn't get knocked out the turn or the flop.
It's almost like that's what he's thinking. I mean, how precise would that be? That's what he's doing. That is what he's doing. You gotta give him credit for
If any
this.
other player did this, I would think they would have dunked, but I think he knows what he's doing. And it's, I want Roland to call because Roland should know that Timoshenko would not call 50k on the turn with a flush draw. And he never had a set either, so his sixes is good here so much.
You're saying that even if Timoshenko had like the 9-10 of spades, he would have passed on the turn?
Yeah.
See, Nessa, you weren't around when hair was hot.
Fold.
I wasn't around when hair was hot.
So we
Hair on
showing?
the back of the chest, jump.
Yeah. I think he might have the same hand.
That's so sick.
It doesn't. 7 players for 5 spots. It feels more like 4 players for 2 spots in a sense. Which player at this table do you sort of feel like you've been in the most interesting spots against, you know, in tournaments that maybe has put you in a difficult spot before?
I've played a fair amount with Scott. Scott's done pretty well against me also. But you know, pretty much all of them are you know, fascinating to watch.
It's possible. Check the river.
Raise here from Vanessa, second to speak, and called on the button by Yevgeny.
6 raise 21.
This is, I want to say, unusual for Patrick, but he's not a massive 3-better.
I really wish I had.
In fact, he's had quite a narrow range. This feels like a hand that he would almost always take a flop off with instead, Eric. I mean,
well, it's kind of an interesting thing because I think that the Queen Jack it's kind of a weak hand. So you sort of want to play it because it's so pretty, but it doesn't really hold up all that well multi-way. And so I think that he's kind of, you know, obviously he would just like to take it right here. And, you know, I think it's just one of those situations where Vanessa's been playing a fair amount of pots, and with Yevgeny just calling, wow, look at this.
So,
this is unbelievable.
Yeah, you've just come in here to confirm that everything's rigged, haven't you?
Wow, this is really, this is going to be interesting.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if there'll be a point when either of these players can avoid doing their stack. Obviously, Antonius's hand with the jack kicker isn't. There comes a point when you realize it might not be super strong, or is that just not going to be a case here? We'll see.
It's really a judgment call. If he feels like Patrick doesn't have a queen, then he just wants to play it slowly and allow him to hang himself. That's a scary card for Yevgeny, because he has to be concerned that now that Patrick could have ace queen or aces full of queens.
If Patrick bets again, and I'm guessing he will bet again, but if he bets again, what does it mean if you're Yevgeny, you know, as far as like polarizing his hand?
Well, I mean, one of the funny things about the ace coming is that it's also a bluffing card. So with Patrick re-raising, Yevgeny can, I mean, in reality, maybe it's a good card for Yevgeny in the sense that it's more likely that Patrick just hit his, you know, aces up, or, you know, it's also a big bluffing card as well.
If Patrick had ace-king, he would have played it exactly like this, right?
Yeah.
Re-raise, bet the flop, check the turn because you're going for pot control.
Exactly.
And just to carry that a step further, Patrick knows that. So when Timoshenko bets here, either he's way ahead of ace-king or way behind, right? He's checking almost everything else.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think that Patrick still thinks his hand is good.
But at the end of the day, we're just watching another cooler like we watched before,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean,
it's just a very tough spot for him to be in, and he doesn't know how to play it. I think that Okay, well, I mean that's a very conservative line. You know, I think maybe he feels like he might be in trouble here.
It's amazing. Obviously, you know, you play in some of these tournaments where you're hundreds and hundreds of big blinds deep. You can't make magic, can you? I mean, there's only so much you can do on these stack sizes. But Antonius seems like he's going to find a way not to go broke here.
It's a funny spot because if Evgeny doesn't know he's good, he's concerned that he's got the you know, but he's just going to take the chance.
And he's gone for what looks like just over half the pot. Does that make Patrick more or less likely to call?
I think for Patrick to lay this hand down would really be a fantastic read. I mean, but you can tell he feels it. You know, he's obviously very concerned.
Call.
He was not happy about that at all.
No, he felt it. I think he knew where he was, but the situation was impossible. It's just it's just a spot where you can't fold your hand. That was kind of the flop you're hoping for if you have Queen Jack.
How are we doing, Alex?
Hi guys, thanks for having me. Doing good, yeah.
You obviously been playing some of the events this week.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everything, right?
I played the Open. I played only two events actually. I was lucky enough to go deep in the Open, so I missed some of the other events, and then the main event as well. It's been a fun week there.
All right, here we have Thomas raising up the King Queen, then in the cutoff, and Diogo, well, getting out of line, 3-betting the King 3 off from the button, leveraging his position against Thomas's 30 big blind stack. We've seen this. Thomas has already taken a defensive strategy against this by limping in late position a couple of times, so now obviously raising it up, we can see why. Diogo going straight after him. But more importantly, Mike, I mean, well, you're putting your glasses on because that shirt's kind of dazzling, right?
I'm getting a little dizzy looking at it there. Does the scarf even match it? I'm not sure it does, but
maybe you need your glasses just to see that it was King 3 offsuit.
It's like one of those eye test things there. It's whoa.
Yeah, well, we had Marcel in the booth earlier and saying he used to wear a few of these shirts back in the days in Amsterdam. Wow, what a flop this is. Disaster for Diogo. King, 5 flop. Thomas trip kings with a queen kicker and Diogo with the 3 kicker. I mean, he's taken a play here, guys, and well, the deck's not rewarded him.
I mean, this is all going to go in, isn't it, at some stage?
Seems like a great opportunity for Thomas to double up here to me. Neither one of them getting away from 3 kings, that's for sure.
Diogo not slow playing his hand. He does bet 12 million. Thomas will just call, you'd imagine. There it is. And as Alex says, you feel like it has to go in. He's got less than pot back as it is.
He'll probably go in by the river. It'll be another small bet on the turn, I imagine.
Yeah, we've seen Thomas limp a couple of buttons and now decides to 3-bet this. But obviously the blinds have gone up, and Thomas had won some more chips.
Yeah, it's a great spot to put pressure. But it's just interesting that maybe he thought that Thomas would limp a big hand if he had been limping before.
Right.
So that's 15 into 65.
It just calls.
Yeah.
Does not raise here.
He does just call. And well, the 9 on the river will change nothing. And as you say, Alex, you can almost be certain this will go check and then a shove.
Yeah.
And, well, a pretty fast call.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see ace king sometimes, but you're just snap calling this, I imagine.
Wow.
I wonder what Diego actually think he's going to get called by when he I mean, he will shove, but it's one of those spots where is this guy calling? Well, what 10s probably goes in pre-flop. He's hoping to get called by 6s, 7s, 8s.
Right, he needs to get heroed off here by a pocket pair. Or of course, Thomas may have perhaps got sneaky pre-flop with a hand like the aces.
Yeah. that's possible. Yeah. I mean, I suppose you do have to shove, but
He does move it all in, and will get snapped. That's the one thing he didn't want to happen, was to get snapped. And well, he will show his king, queen. And so another double up on this final for Thomas. He right back in the mix now with 182 million chips. And well, Diogo is now down to the just over 30 big blind stack.
Now he's going to know what it feels like. Their positions are reversed.
Yeah. Oh, Diogo.
Maybe
not in great shape now. Got a little out of line with the king 3.
If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for the best poker videos on YouTube. Make sure to also check out our previous video if you missed it, and let us know in the comments below what you would like to see on the next Fury TV.